Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to It's Rainmaking Time. This is Kim Greenhouse. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Terry and Linda Jamison. They are internationally renowned psychic twins. They are considered some of the most documented psychics in the world with an unraveled track record of accurate world and celebrity predictions. 2 years before 9/11, they detailed out the entire event. They also detailed out John F. Kennedy Jr.'s death and his wife's death in a small plane, the Times Square terrorist incident, and the winners of the 2009 Oscars. The Jamison sisters cracked the case of Olivia Newton-John's missing boyfriend on the CBS Insider in 2005. Their first book was called Separated at Earth. They have come out with a brand new book called Psychic Intelligence. They come from an artistic family. They are artists. They've done comedy. They're extremely humble, and they have a lot to teach us about being alive today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Terry and Linda Jamison to It's Rainmaking Time. Good morning.
Good morning.
Kim, good morning. Thank you for that lovely introduction. We're happy to be here.
That was very nice.
Well, it's very true. I think the first thing I wanted to ask you regarding your new book, Psychic Intelligence, is you say that paranormal is the new normal. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think we're all learning to embrace our own intuition, our psychic listening, and open up to the subtle messages that are all around us all the time. And the two of us have worked, obviously, for over 20 years in this field, and now we've proven that we all have some ability. And in this step-by-step process, we teach you how to train your psychic listening and using the four clairs to discover your true power and potential and find solutions to your problems. We feel that it's a new way of being in the world, and it's actually a matter of life and death, I think, for our culture.
I think we really need a new kind of intelligence now, Kim, and we think that's psychic intelligence.
There's been a lot of new evidence to what you're talking about with something called remote viewing. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Yes, it's actually a technique that can be taught. It's not particularly psychic, and we don't really address that in our book, but we know people that have done remote viewing.
The reason that I mention it is because remote viewing kind of gives evidence that you can do what you can do.
Well, we're the psychics that have actually proven that the future can be predicted. We have probably the best track record in history, an unrivaled track record, actually, of accurate world predictions. We've probably predicted hundreds of world events since 1998.
In the media.
And in the media, it's usually, on national TV or international radio that we've made these predictions. And it's funny because a lot of people are trying to discredit us or post false predictions that we never made in order to take us down. We're pretty much of a target right now.
But with remote viewing, it's harder to predict the future. It's actually a better tool or technique for accessing information about what already has happened. And because we've talked to a number of remote viewers who've said, gee, I can't predict anything, but I can tell you where they're hiding the arsenal of weapons, that sort of thing. What we do is we divine the future. We're called Nostradamus in stilettos, actually. We actually have a track record of predictions.
And the scientists don't like it because they're skeptics, and we've actually proven that this can be done. So now the scientists have to go back to the drawing board, and, we've got them all scrambling because, we don't meet their criteria for what, can be proven.
You say so many things in your book, and you really cover the gamut in the new book. You say that the future is malleable, and yet the fact that you can go into the future and come back with a prediction.
Right.
What does this mean to us about the Akashic Records? Does it exist? In other words, the future is malleable, but yet something has already happened for you to bring it back to us as accurate, right?
That's actually a very good point. We do believe in the Akasha or the Akashic Records, and we access it using automatic writing, Kim, which not too many psychics are able to do. We actually teach people how to do automatic writing in our book, but it isn't something everyone can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cosmic library, the Akasha or the Akashic Records. It's like an etheric cosmic library that encircles the planet, and it contains all historical thought, word, and deed. Some people feel future information. We feel it contains future information. Otherwise, how would we predict all these world events with such specificity?
And we feel that there's kind of a loose blueprint that exists for the future. But we, as Buddhists, for 27 years we've been Buddhists, we believe that we can change our destinies, and we also teach people how to do that in our book. We were able to change our destiny. We were expected to die at the age of 30. We're quite a bit older than that now. But doctors and specialists said you're going to be dead by the time you're 30 because we had so many serious illnesses, including cancer, and we beat all the odds. So we changed our destiny, and a lot of people say, oh, no, you can't change your destiny, but we've proven that too.
And therefore, contextually, I understand how you say the future is malleable. But
yeah, it's mutable.
Mutable.
It's mutable. In Buddhism, we're practicing Buddhism for 27 years, Kim, and we practice a form of Buddhism called Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism. We chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, and we write about that in our book, Psychic Intelligence. And we believe that the future is mutable to a large extent. We can influence the future and the outcomes because there are many potentialities.
And even though we have the best track record of prophets in history, we are never saying we're always right. No psychic or prophet is 100% accurate, and that's because we can influence and change the future.
Got it. I would imagine that it's a paradox for people to hear how you can go out into a future and bring back things that actually show up and manifest. And then at the same time, to hold and to understand that our existence is mutable. That's a real paradox and very interesting.
It's very difficult to write about what we do because it's never been done before on the level that we're doing it. So we spent literally a lifetime writing this book, and we put all of our secrets, and I mean everything is in this book. We have 20 5-star reviews on Amazon because people are loving this book. It's changing lives. That's what people are telling us.
Have you ever had anybody ask you before, at what point as psychic stewards, when you do a prediction, let's say that involves the passing of somebody or a group, right, a lot of death, or somebody died, and you become public about it as a prediction, at what point does it violate the other person's free will? Like, was Robert Kennedy Jr. alive when you made the prediction that he would...
Oh, yes. We made the prediction 2 years before his death, and we said he would be, right after Lady Di was killed, we said John F. Kennedy Jr. will be next. He's the next one to go, and it'll be a death by plane,
a
tragic
plane.
Death in a small plane. And we were proven right. We didn't want to be, but it was one of those cases where we saw it. It happened. Obviously, he didn't know about our seeing it, or he might have been able to change that outcome. But we can't choose. We can't help other people change their destiny. They are the ones that have to change it for themselves. We only give the potentiality. We take a snapshot of the most likely outcomes as intuitives, as psychics and predictors. We take a snapshot of the most likely outcome depending on the current conditions and the way the mass thought is going. So we'll predict tornadoes and floods in a specific area. It's always who, what, when, and where. If you don't have who, what, when, and where, then that's not a real prediction. We take the most likely snapshot of the outcome, and then we'll go public with it, which, believe me, it's like parachuting across enemy lines amid sniper fire when we make these predictions, Kim. It's not easy. The haters and the skeptics are all ready with their guns to shoot us down.
And another thing people don't realize is that we never charge for the prophecy work that we've done in the 12 years that we've done world predictions. And prophecy work is when it affects
large groups of people.
Very large groups and hundreds of countries, and that's what we do. But we never charged money for the world prophecy work. So it's like that's another lie that they're telling about us in the media.
We do not, no, we don't get paid to do world predictions on radio or television.
I think all of the specificity that you deliver to us takes great courage because you are on the firing line. I mean, the whole realm is on the firing line, even though many more people are more aware of the parapsychology, the psychic realm, the supernatural realm. But when you get into that level of specificity, it changes people's reality, their paradigm on what's happening.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And we actually say we're